Hi, everyone. Lisa Haven here, and I've got a huge special report that I want to share with you. I'm going to be bringing on in a moment, there's going to be three of us, Larry Nichols and Ed Klein, both authors and both amazing people. You guys are well aware of Larry. He's been on my channel tons, exposed everything from involving the Clintons and all of that, and he was Clinton's advisor a while back. So with that, we have a lot to discuss. Everything from the fake news report that came out about the collusion with Russia and Donald Trump and Flynn and all of that, to the plan to destroy President Trump. Now, I've talked about this a lot on my channel, but Ed Klein, the author that I'm bringing on today, is going to drop some pretty big bombshells. So I encourage you to hang on that. So for starters, Larry, are you with me over there?
Yes, ma'am. I'm here.
All right. Well, you tell us a little bit about Ed Klein, who he is, and all of that, and then we'll get into the plot to destroy Trump.
Well, I would love to. Ed Klein and I go back years. Ed is a Pulitzer Prize-winning author. He's written numerous books about the Clintons, of which I can validate everything he's done. He wrote a book about Kennedy. Folks, Ed Klein is one of the few people that I trust that when he does a book and does research, you can believe it. Now, he's got a new book. I'll let him explain it. But this new book is very important to all of us. You know, folks, Lisa's been trying for months to tell you they want to impeach Trump or in some way get rid of Trump. For the first time, thanks to Ed Klein and his research, over a year's worth of researching, we now have something that validates what we've been saying. So, Lisa, you don't need to be talking to me. I'm nothing compared to Ed Klein. So, Ed, welcome to Lisa Haven.
Well, it's a great pleasure to be with Lisa and with you, Larry. You and I, as you say, go back, I don't know how many years, many, many years. I have nothing but the highest regard for you. And Lisa, thank you so much for having me on your wonderful show.
Yeah, thanks for being on the show. And I'm excited you're here. So tell us a little bit about the plot to destroy Donald Trump. Is that something we should worry about? Are we safe to say he's going to be our president for, to fulfill his term? Or is that something we need to keep in constant prayer and keep an eye out for?
Well, I've just published a book which answers a lot of your questions, Lisa. The book is called All Out War, The Plot to Destroy Trump. And in America, as Larry has said, you are entitled to your own opinion, but you are not entitled to overthrow the democratically elected president of the United States and inflict irreparable damage on our country. And that is what Donald Trump's enemies on the left and some on the right are doing. And that's why I spent well over a year writing this book, because I want to get the information to the people that Larry has been talking about, which is that there is this plot to destroy this president, this democratically elected president. And this book, All Out War, gives you the information that you need to know to counter that plot.
Well, what do you think is going to happen with President Trump? I mean, what's the attack plan?
Well, there's a dual, two-sided attack plan. One plan is for the Democrats to win the House of Representatives next year, in the 2018 midterm elections, and put forward a resolution to impeach him. That's exactly what they'll do if they take over the House. The other plan, well, actually, there are three plans now that I think about it. The second plan is to use what's called the 25th Amendment to the Constitution, which says that if a president is disabled for some reason, his cabinet officers can vote to replace him with the vice president. And there are a lot of people on the left who want the cabinet, the Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of Labor, the Attorney General, etc., to vote President Trump out of office because they say, these left-wingers, that he's mentally incapacitated, which I think is absurd. And then there's a third attack, which is the special prosecutor, Robert Mueller, who's trying to prove, along with his 16 high-paid prosecutors, many of whom were Hillary Clinton backers, that the president obstructed justice when he fired the FBI director, and that they'd used obstruction of justice against him. And then, of course, there's all throughout the country, there are left-wingers everywhere who are assembling meetings and getting together and trying to vote in their county and state elections so that they have Democratic left-wingers in their state legislatures who would vote against and put pressure on Congress to impeach the president. It's all over the place, and Larry is absolutely on the mark when he said this is real and this is a real threat.
Lisa, could I interject a question here?
Yeah.
Ed, historically, when the other party gets a president in power, of late, it seems that it's the challenge of the party that's out of the presidency to try to halt the other guy's agenda. But this time, they're not just trying to halt Trump's agenda. They're trying to get rid of him. That's what it seems like to me. Am I wrong?
No, you're completely right.
And I agree 100% because, the ultimate agenda from the left, and we're seeing more of it. They're stooping to a new low. The ABC News report that just came out, they had to push in this whole fake narrative. So basically the goal of that is, hey, let's get the people to believe this false lie, this narrative, something that was commonly, to call Russia at the time, it was something that was commonly done. They take it out and they blow the story up. Then they put the guy on, a 4-week no pay ban or whatever. And now the American public doesn't hear about the other side, about, him being banned and all of that. So they believe the lie, and that's kind of the idea. Is that what you see for the story? It's just a stepping block in that direction to impeach Donald Trump or do whatever they're are attempting to do?
Yeah, one of the things I say in this new book, All Out War, The Plot to Destroy Trump, is that unlike, as Larry said, unlike the past, where the party out of power has been the so-called loyal opposition, trying to defeat the party in power agenda, which is perfectly okay. That's our system of government. We have two parties, and the loyal opposition is opposing, obviously, the parties in power. But in this case, this is very different because you have not only the Democrats who are out of power trying to impeach him, you have some Republicans who are also opposed to him, never Trump Republicans. And perhaps most of all, to your point, Lisa, you have the media that is filling the minds of the American public with this fake news that he is somehow guilty of collusion, the president somehow guilty of collusion with the Russians, and there's absolutely no proof of that whatsoever. There's not a scintilla of evidence that while the campaign was going on, that Donald Trump had anything to do with the Russians. Only after he was elected president, when he was president-elect, did he give, or did some of his people give, approval to General Flynn, who was his national security advisor, to speak to the Russian ambassador, which was a perfectly legal and ethical thing to do.
And that's the thing. They take something that's legal, ethical, normal, call it unnatural, put a fake label on it and say, Donald Trump's in collusion with the Russians and people in his cabinet are in collusion with the Russians. So they make up this lie, feed it to the American public, and don't tell the American public of the retraction, nor do they tell them that it's absolutely fake or fraud. And half the people walk around a little zombified like the story's true. And so we have this liberal side that's sucking up the lie that a lot of us are attempting to wake them up. I know a lot of liberals have jumped the fence over to the other side because they're starting to see more and more of the atrocities that they're doing. It's starting to come out more in the open. So my hope is we can win this war, this information war, I guess right now is what it is, that we need to do everything we can to help President Trump at this time. Would you agree?
Well, that's exactly right. It is an information war. I'm glad you said it in those words, because that's exactly what it is. And I'm saying in this new book, All Out War, if you want to join the effort to prevent the villains, I call them the villains, from destroying our democracy and this president, then this book is your essential guide, because it tells you what they're doing, how they're doing it, and how you can stop it.
Absolutely.
Well, you know, Lisa, this is one of the reasons I wanted Ed on with All Out War. You know, folks, I'm telling you, we've all been there. We've all tried to talk to friends, relatives, whatever, and they all roll their eyes back in the back of their head. And it's because most of the time we know stuff, Lisa, but knowing it and then being able to come at somebody that's not involved, that doesn't pay attention to politics, and get them to understand or pick up on the nuances is almost impossible. Ed's book does what we have needed for oh so long. It gives us, I call it validation, I don't know what you call it. It gives us something that you can hand them and say, here, read it for yourself.
Yeah. So what about, I guess in conclusion, where do you see this country headed just this year alone?
Well, that's a very good question. And I would say that I think that this effort to impeach Donald Trump, to destroy him, to throw him out of office, is not going to get better. And it's not going to go away. But as we head into the 2018 midterm elections, we're just a month away from 2018, and these midterm elections sounds like an abstraction, but these are going to determine who controls the House of Representatives and who controls the Senate. This is the attacks on Donald Trump are going to get tenfold worse, not better. And that's why people should be aware of it and do something about it by getting information and by getting in touch with their Congress people. In Larry's case, Larry, you could talk about this more than I can, because this is what you're involved in, actually running for office.
Oh, absolutely. You know, Lisa, one of the things that I'll be doing after the first year, if I'm still here, and we hope maybe I will be, I'm going to be seeking out plumbers, carpenters, secretaries, truck drivers, regular everyday people to run for office.
Amen.
You know, the time of the professional politician, the lawyers, we see what that has gotten us. It's not good. So we will be trying to get regular people to run, and I have a plan to do it. I'm not going to talk about it now, but we have a plan to do it. But I will say this, Ed, I have also been saying, Lisa knows this, I've been saying that we are in the middle, maybe we're in the end of the middle, of a soft coup in this country. Mm-hmm. Now, folks, let me tell you the difference between a regular coup and a soft coup right quick. In a regular coup, that's when you see the tanks around the Capitol building and the soldiers all line up. In a soft coup, the first thing you always see taken is the media. Now, guys, the media is all in. They're all in. There is no doubt today that the media is an active participant in trying to overthrow and get rid of Trump. Absolutely. So, Ed, would you say that's right, that we're in a soft coup?
I couldn't agree more with you, Larry. Absolutely. As Lisa said, it's an information war, and the media is controlled by the left. And they are complicit in this huge effort to delegitimize and destroy and then ultimately impeach this president. And they won't be happy until they do it.
Now, I got to ask you one thing, Ed. Excuse me, Lisa. I have heard for years and years and years that one of the big financiers of this movement to change our form of government to something we all don't want is George Soros. Do you mention him in your book?
I do more than mention him, Larry. I have a whole chapter on George Soros and who he is, how he got to be who he is, how much money he has, and how he is plotting to destroy Trump by using his billions and billions of dollars and his friends who are also billionaires who are left-wingers to fund this resistance movement against Trump, and including some of the violent resistors in this Antifa group and other left-wing violent groups.
So you're absolutely right. You know, George Soros is a provocateur. I mean, majorly. I've talked about him a whole lot on my channel here. But with that, I wanted to tell you guys, the other day I did a report from the World Economic Forum, and it's on my channel here, Lisa Haven. But on that report, I specifically showed how at this World Economic Forum that they held in India, they were meeting together to discuss fake news and how the alternative media is basically the bad guy and that mainstream media is the good guy, and that because Donald Trump is attacking the mainstream media, it made him a dictator because he doesn't agree with what the mainstream media is saying. This is the entire 1 hour video, what they're talking about, what they're doing, but the whole video starts with this precursor or this opening of, we're not going to call mainstream media fake news because Donald Trump polluted the word. So they start the whole thing off with a bias on President Trump, which tells me they're definitely, I mean, this isn't even a legit conversation to have, and here they are attacking the mainstream media. So that's something that we have to look out for in the very near future. But with that, we're kind of short.
Let me do this, Lisa, if I may. Ed, can you please, I've done all this way without asking you how people can get the book. Please forgive me. Ed, how can they get the book?
Yeah, and I'll leave a link below too, guys, for that.
Well, that's very kind of you. Yes, the book All Out War, The Plot to Destroy Trump, you can go to Amazon.com or Barnes & Noble. It's available on Kindle for about $9 or hardcover for about $15 or so. Or you can go to my website, which has got a lot of my writings as well, and you can order it there. And that website is edwardklein.com. So there's many ways you can order the book, and many ways to give them as gifts for Christmas.
Awesome. And I will leave a link below for that. Also, Nichols Live at AOL.com if you guys want to donate to Larry there as well. That'll be down below. And also, don't forget to check out my partner at TradeGeniusAcademy.com. He'll also be down there below. So you got Ed Klein's book, Larry Nichols, and then the information for Trade Genius. Anyhow, I'd love to hear your comments and concerns on this. And sorry for some of the technical difficulties throughout the video. I just moved, so working out the kinks. Anyhow, thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven, and this is Larry and Edward Klein signing out.